So being that we're in the last days of 2025, I wanted to do some year-end, year-ahead readings. And this one is for the collective, although it is more a look at the nation, being in the U.S., and the greater global community and things that we are going to have to confront or deal with over the next year. The energy of fear there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. And it's conscious in some people, it's very unconscious in others. It's manifesting as a lot of things: insomnia, depression, irritability and anger, being shut down completely. That's good. And, that's trauma. And right now, we're dealing with a lot of it around the world. A lot of it, more than we've had since after World War II. More than that. This one. And so I'm just going to kind of take a quick look at the months. Angels gave me this spread the other day, which is by seasons. So that's the spring months. Summer, and then we've got fall, and then we've got winter, and we'll clarify with other cards. Let me get my massive amount of rocks out of the way so I can actually read them. Okay, let's see. So, Tower on the bottom of the deck. I feel like this just sums up how we're all feeling right now. It couldn't be more perfect. Oh, Lord. So we've got January, February, March here, and there's still a lot of conflict that's happening here in January, and a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of moving parts, and there's some things that are hidden that a lot of us have no idea that's happening right now. The Seven of Wands. So, I mean, you see all these wands that she's coming up against, but you don't see where they're coming from. And there are greater forces at play here on a number of different levels. Also, for whatever reason, she looks like the 50-foot woman to me. Like the landscape, she looks like a giant in the landscape. And I think that's significant about, the fight for equality, the fight for equal rights, and who is and who isn't fighting for all of that for everybody. And who needs to start standing up and fighting. She got platform boots on too. That's pretty cool. But there's some hidden forces at play, and by February, a lot of that's going to come to light here. The Hierophant, there's going to be some activity in the courts. That's the very first thing that came to my mind. Tradition. So here's the thing. I can't help but notice that, like, tradition, the word came out of my mouth. It is the Hierophant. Number one, she's got tattoos. Number two, her clothes are in tatters here. Like, her dress is all shredded. Her scarf is shredded. The floor is dirty. She's got keys in front of her. I love this. So we've got a few things going on here. Tradition, number one, is starving us out because the way things have worked is not working. Number two, younger generations are taking back power, and that's coming March. That is definitely coming March. And I think there's some older generations who have been through this before are going to actually start connecting with younger generations who may not have. And imparting that wisdom. I see she's got tattoos on her arms, and these kids just have like patterned shirts. They don't have the same experience that she has, the Hierophant there, but they're learning and they're understanding it. And that's really important. And this is something I've said that has been really important for a while, is learning from the past. I have just watched the same stuff cycle around and around and around. Corporate lies, environmental garbage, it just on and on and on and on. And, it gets to be 9 or 10 years and the same stuff comes out, and the people who were around, there's not enough who care about it. So nobody really places any weight in it, and the same things just happen all over again. We get complacent. And so there's going to be less complacency. And that's because it's going to start being a real struggle. And I hate to see that. April especially is going to be very, very hard. Interesting. This is April, 3 of Swords. But for the life of me, I see there's this guy here. There's this, and he's got his arms up and he's fighting against those swords. So we are going to need to not give up. And there may be some really heartbreaking things that happen around April that I don't even want to think about myself. But I know that we have to. I know that we have to. May, Knight of Wands. June, the Empress. We have regrouped and are ready to take charge. She's got crystals. She's very earthy. This Empress. July, Knight of Wands. False starts. So we have Knight of Wands rushing in and getting fooled. And then having to defend. Oh my goodness. And then let's look at the last 3 months here. October, November, December. October actually looks like kind of get back to work. October looks like get back to work. October is a real big turning point, and November is especially going to be really hard for a lot of people. But a lot of eyes are being opened by the end of the year. This Queen of Swords. People are starting to see the truth here. Clarify 8 of Pentacles. Oh, yeah. Clarify 3 of Swords. Clarify 7 of Swords. And 2 of Swords. There's 2 of them, so that's always a choice. Wow. Wow. So interesting on the clarification for the 2 of Swords. Sorry, I was lost in thought there for a moment. Freedom and mystery. Look at this. You got Bigfoot, and then you got Skunk Ape. 2 sides of the same crooked coin, kind of. And Skunk Ape is freedom, which good, because he kind of stinks. And then Bigfoot is mystery. His little booties hanging out. How cute is that? But right on top of the 2 of Swords. So it's so the Skunk Ape is pointing right at the Empress. Bigfoot is pointing at this Queen of Swords. It's a choice. It goes like this. Freedom, or it feels like freedom or freedom of promises that we're not sure. It's like freedom. This person is very connected to the earth. This is an empress. This is somebody who knows a lot. This person is also very connected to. There is a greater spiritual element to this person. A depth to the wisdom, whereas this person is just very intellectual and very smart. There she carries her sword in that crisp blue sky. Her words may be very strategic, calculated, carefully crafted to hide what is, to hide the truth or to control the truth. Well, this in a roundabout way of saying, it's not easy giving a reading on an entire planet. Anyway, this is in a roundabout way of saying we have two choices here. So, the same way, the same things. Are we going to let ourselves be charmed and convinced and talked pretty and made promises and it sounds good? We're not sure how it's going to turn out, but it sounds good, Or we've got this empress, and this is a different, these may not even be people, these may be ways of being that we're starting to come into a greater awakening of. So that cold truth that is very calculated and very strategic and surgical and precise, and there's not a lot of heart in this. It's just a lot of intellect. It's very black and white, just like the clouds in the sky are white and blue. And then we have the Empress, who's very colorful. There are many elements in this card. You've got water, and you've got earth, and fire, and air. And it's, it's not the patriarchy, shall we say that? It's the opposite of that. It's the opposite of that. And this is what's bringing us freedom. So, it's more of the same. This is where we are waking up. This is the decision that we're going to find ourselves having to make when the next school year starts, September. There's a lot that's going to happen this summer. I think there's going to be some protests and some fires. That's what I'm seeing in August. People are getting more and more angry. People are getting more and more passionate. And of course we are, because we're fighting for our survival. Basic survival for so many people. I mean, the ability to eat, the ability to pay for shelter, God, the ability to live in your car if you don't have a home, which is now illegal. It's a nightmare. And so we know that the way things are has not been conducive to where we are now. Where we are right now is a result of where we've come from. And so cards very clearly, after I had to talk myself through it very clearly. Well, it's a story, right? I see this too as people in denial. Well, we don't know if it's more of the same. You do, though. If you use your discernment and look and pay attention, you know it's more of the same. And it's going to look virtuous, and it's going to look great and pure and all that other garbage. But it's going to have a different face. And that face looks like it's going to be a woman. And then starts the endless debate of, oh, well, she's not going to be like that. Yes, she is. The Empress. This is a very colorful card. It's got all sorts of different elements on it. And it's about community and working together and working in balance. And this is what's going to bring us freedom. Who are we listening to? Lord, stop listening to Karen, please. Because things are really heating up here. I think too, as I look at this, the Hierophant, which clarified by confrontation and Momo, confrontation, and Umdlebi, devious. Something big is going to get interrupted or thrown out. One of those situations, again, where the evidence is clear and nobody does anything. And that's what's leading to this really hard Three of Swords. And we are in a fight for our lives, and so we are struggling. Shook manifestation in the reverse here. And so we are struggling with the reality of the injustice. Battle worn and wounded. We're defending ourselves, but getting more and more incensed. And there is a different way of being. The problem that I'm seeing is that there's a lot of the wands here. The wands are what we need to control. Our anger, our passion, our outrage. Those things absolutely need to exist, but they can't exist in a way that sabotages everything here. And there is some of that happening. There's a chance of the disruptors being disrupted. Part of that from the outside, part of that from the inside. And things set ablaze. By September, clarified by Goatman, death inverted there. September is the start of a new school year, and it's sort of when people again start to settle in. And I think a lot of people are settling in as a way of coping with what isn't changing. Can we clarify Five of Pentacles, please? Some people have resigned themselves to believing it won't ever change. And that's what we need to guard against by the end of next year. Five of Pentacles, strength. The unseen strength. The unseen strength of the marginalized, the rejected, the targeted. I wish more people understood how long Black, brown people have been organizing and resisting. I mean, when you think about it, just think about it. And if there's anything that I've learned is when we're looking at stuff like this, listen to them. Listen to them. They know what they're talking about. They've seen it for so long and been fighting against it longer than you were even an ovum in your mother's gut. And November, that strength is shining. And that's when this Queen of Swords comes out, and I don't like her. And there's something about her and the Empress here. Boundaries, Kikamura. The promise, the lie that will be sold is one that a lot of people will want to take to return to peace and out of discomfort. We don't want to leave people out in the cold, but people would rather avoid that discomfort than leave the door open or wait for people to come in. It is the most god-awful sociological phenomena, and it is definitely not how we were wired. All right, I'm seeing you. It's where we've gotten. This is where we have gotten to. Clarify Queen of Swords. What walls have you built around yourself? Some of these defenses may no longer be needed. And I think that's the big lesson here is, do we want more of the same, or do we want to start looking at the reality of things and realizing how many of us are in the same position, and how stupid the racism and bigotry is, and how ridiculously unfair it all is? On the plus side, I mean, I know that most of my followers could be like, yes, we want people to understand this. That's what we do every day. Societal changes sometimes are what kicks that into gear. And I do see that starting to happen by the end of next year. But I do see some really hard stuff. I do see some really hard stuff happening this summer and early this spring, April. Hidden dangers may yield unexpected good fortune. These should be discovered naturally and without force. There is an opportunity to really unite. There's a real opportunity to unite here and start working for a better way towards freedom, towards that Empress. What is the culmination, the overview, big picture of next year? One card. How many did I get? Take 3 or take 2? 3. All right, here we go. Okay. So now I get it. All right. So if we open our hearts and really start to fairly judge the circumstances and the situation in this country, we can set out in a new direction with it that is more equitable. Or we can sit and watch as somebody unfair gains power. But don't forget to grasp onto our power. This is the spark that needs to be lit under people's butts. And I hate to say it that way, but sometimes people literally have to be shaken awake to really see the truth of things, because they're so stuck in the patterns and conditioning. You know, it's fine. This is just the way things are. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. That's all things coming out of her mouth, scrolling on her phone. It's not fine. We're starting to wake up into the ways that it's not fine. Look out for April, June. Pay attention, March, April, June, July, August, October, November. And look out for that Queen of Swords. Anything else? All right, one more. Advice for us. Accountability. All around. So consider this. If we want the powers that be to be accountable, the micro and the macro reflect each other. If we're not taking accountability for ourselves and holding each other accountable among our loved ones and friends in the micro, that will never happen in the macro. It will never happen. You know, if we are allowing larger systems, people and systems, to skirt accountability, then eventually the whole system collapses, and that's what we're seeing. We need to be accountable for the ways we have turned a blind eye to how our systems are destroying us. And that's not to send you into a depressive rage. It's because you are a very key and important part of the transformation of this. Every single person, every single one of you, and beyond. And it is all of us coming together that is going to be able to make those changes. Demand those changes and make sure they happen. Bottom of the deck, well-being and trust. Two big things to remember. Do not destroy yourself trying to destroy fascism. Do not destroy each other trying to destroy fascism. Self-care and community care are two big factors of where we're going. Keep those in the back of your head and remember that. We're going to do another reading, another year ahead reading. This one is going to be more on the healing spiritual for my collective. I'll do that one in another day or two. Probably tomorrow, since it's, the 30th, and tomorrow is New Year's Eve. If I don't get to it New Year's Eve, it'll be New Year's Day. So otherwise, if you'd like a reading from me, you can go to theowlandthewolf.com. I do readings by email, and I am booking healing, tarot, and divination sessions right now. I hope y'all have a wonderful new year, and let's get ready to make it a better world. Love you, bye.